Welcome to the metagame breakdown for February 2022. Very early thoughts. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button and don't be like one of the 33.8% of you guys that have not hit. I want to get to 101k. We're about halfway there, actually. So we're going to be doing a tier list for the new format. I have things lined out the way that I like them here. Tier 0.5, Tier 1, Tier 1.5, Tier 2, and if it's just bad, it's just going to get yeeted on in to the Tier 3 category. So to kind of start things off here, we have ABC. As much as I want to credit this deck should be like Tier 2. This deck always can do really weird things, in my opinion, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Alright, but kind of start things off, it's not in a bad place right now. Now, Drytron, I have some interesting combo stuff for you here to kind of look at. This deck just became E-to-10 abuse deck. And I do think that this deck has some decent potential still in the rogue category for 1.5. It's not quite Tier 2. It should be like 1.75 actually. Pendulum Magicians. I think Pendulum Magicians is Tier 2. I'm sorry, Trip. As much as I want to like be super excited for this and I want to like, yeah, this is crazy. It's not quite that interesting. Birds, the Lyricsk package or Lyricsk. I'm going to put this in Tier 2. We'll revisit this in a little bit once more of this list kind of shapes out, but this deck got hit really hard. Now, the Rite of Armisia package. Now, this is interesting because this is just one icon by itself. I think in terms of what this brings to the game, this is by far one of the craziest engines. I think that the package gives decks the ability to be a lot better. It's definitely Tier 1 for sure, but for what this represents as an engine, the engine itself is going to be Tier 1. B-Trooper, this is just DP Turbo, right? And they lost a Fusion Destiny, so this can sit in... We'll come back to this and readjust as we really need to here. Cyber Dragons is Rogue. It's Tier 2 for sure. This deck, nothing changes with this. It's just build a board and break it. Though it hasn't had any real tops recently. And we'll put it in Tier 3. Eldritch. Triple skill drain deck. How viable can this deck survive, though, is going to be my real question for you guys. The thing that's going to make this or break this between 1 and 1.5, in my opinion, is going to be how many lightning storms, how many of those cosmic cyclones, how many of those board breakers are going to show up into the format and warp this existence. Because I can tell you this is not Tier 2 for sure. For now, we're going to put it in Tier 1 because a lot of people are just crying over triple skill drain. And we'll have to wait and see how the implications go on this. But as I said, depending on how counters shape up for this will depend on how well this deck does. Now, Praying Kids here. Brave Praying Kids has been projected to be one of the craziest decks. Yeah. Meow Meow Mew is hit. Alright, I think going forward here that it's really going to depend on how that Brave package shapes up. And I just want you guys to be aware that that is a very real deck. Alright, I don't think that it's Tier 2 by any stretch of the imagination. This is like pretty much the definition of 1.5 in my opinion. Flunder. Now, Flunder was doing very well. And for all intents and purposes, they're going to get Journey here soon. Journey, I think Journey will push them up to probably the 6th best deck in the room, if you want me to be honest with you. This deck is incredibly scary, and it's really going to catch a lot of people off guard in terms of Rogue. Alright, Cosmo, I'm sorry. I can't give you any more love. Alright, you haven't really done anything. Heroes. I would say that we'll put Heroes right here. I feel like Heroes are a little bit better than everything else in here except for DP Turbo / Bugs. Now, Try is an interesting one. I feel like at this point that Try can still do something, but it's in the same boat right now as where Drytron is. You've got some new gimmicks. Is it crazy consistent? It's going to depend on those fields. All right, they definitely gave this deck a lot of wiggle room, and I think that's a very good thing here. I think I'm going to put Salad above Heroes in tier 2, because this deck is also just build a board turbo, right? Now, Altergeist just got triple skill drain. I think they're 1.5. A lot of people I was talking to before I started filming this, I think the general consensus across the board is this deck is very scary right now because of those additional skill drains. I guess you could argue to push it into here, but it's like very, very, very high on the tier 2 list, borderlining into 1.5. Judgment Dragon, sorry, Lightsworn, you're not getting it from me today. VW, see, this is also interesting because I know people are developing Brave Virtual World, but to what degree will it kind of take off? I'm unsure right now. I'm going to leave it at 1.5 for the second. Trains, I mean, we'll put it here. Evil Twins, I think, can get away at being in tier 2. They haven't really done anything to warrant being lower, so I think that that's fine, in my opinion. Danger in general goes in the tier 3 category. Phantom Knights. I do think, ladies and gentlemen, that this deck, Brave post here, this deck is going to be like borderline. It will be the king of tier 1. I think with this being your benchmark for the amount of crazy boards that this can set up, yeah, it's nuts. There's no other real way to say it. This is by far the definition of unfun. And Konami just said, nah. You, no fun allowed this format. Punk. Now, Punk with VW is kind of fun. I do like what this deck does, but if it's just Punk by itself, it's got to go in tier 3. All right, I'm sorry, Punk players. I like the deck. Striker. Striker feels better than everything else in 1.5 right now. I hate to say that. They lost a Fusion Destiny on the list. Like, okay, that sucks as a consistency hit, but everything else that Striker does is unfair in and in its own right. Alright? Like, there's no business for this deck to be in here, in my opinion. This deck. You lost a Nadir. Oh, slapped on the wrist. Oh, no. Hello? What were they thinking with this? This was a dumb idea. Holy crap, this deck is for sure tier 1. Not a doubt in my mind. This is Shark Turbo, right? This deserves to go in tier 2, right? Same thing with Speedroids. 3 people in the world know how this deck functions, and they are masterminds with this. Alright? I think that Speedroids is one of the most underestimated rogue decks out there right now. Alright? Sword Soul is still tier 1. Yeah, you lost to Protoss, but we're going to see this deck probably evolve into Dimension Shifter Turbo. Alright, it didn't lose anything. The thing I'm curious about will be how the Tenyi variant will hold out here. I think that a combination of these will be tier 1. These two have no business not being in this category. Alright, Dragon Link, I think the Dragon Link is still tier 1. At least 1.5. It's like the definition of like the backbreaker here for tier 1, in my opinion. Like this deck is so fundamentally weird for what it does. Alright. Trap Tricks. Sorry, I gotta put them in tier 3. Dinosaur. Man, I'm sorry. I gotta put him in tier 3. I do notice that there is no Mystic Mine on this list. You can bet your butt that 3 Mystic Mine and 3 Skill Drain will be a real deck for this format. I don't really see anything I kind of want to adjust here. I might... See, like, these two are very interchangeable to me because they both... I know people want to try the Brave package with this, but there's just a lot of interesting things to develop here. But in terms of your tier 1 at the moment, Prankids might be one of your 4 leaders in very early Brave technology, because a lot of people have a lot of time on this, but everything in 1.5 right now is scary. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But tier 1 just, I feel like, has a lot more establishability, and then there's the Leviathan. Alright, his time to shine is here. So guys, What do you think about this tier list? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Now, see your beautiful faces back here later on the day with some more cool awesome content. Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.